We're coming back to Oasis with Supersonic on this one off the album, Definitely Maybe. Sam, how did this album do?
It went to #1 in the UK, and it was actually the fastest selling UK debut album of all time.
Really crazy stuff. They just exploded onto the scene, and this was their debut single here.
Yes, and this came out in 1994.
Yeah, 1994. The album came out in 1994, and earlier that year, in April of 94, is when Supersonic came out. And this was the point where, you know, people started to recognize, well, this group is pretty good. There's
Yeah, maybe we
something
should pay
else.
attention to them.
Maybe we should see what this is all about. And then it just exploded from there, obviously. But the interesting thing about this song that really started to put them on the map is that it was written in how long?
It was written and recorded on the same day, but the song was written in about 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Changed your life. How about that?
That's
really insane. And it wasn't even like they were doing their own recording session. I think they were recording with another artist or another band or something like that. And it was just like a spur of the moment. Let me write this song. They recorded it, and it was more of like a live performance recording, and it just exploded from there.
Apparently it came out sounding like they'd been waiting their whole lives for this opportunity, which they honestly probably were.
Destiny sounds like it. And then their destiny reunited them back in 2024. We did a live performance from Argentina more recently, but we also did a performance before that. So really cool stuff to be revisiting some Oasis that we were a little bit familiar with on previous songs. And then this song here, I don't think I'm going to recognize at all. So I'm excited to check out something new I haven't heard from Oasis before.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard it either. I think I only knew Wonderwall. So
yeah. All right. Let's get into Oasis. Well, I have definitely not heard this one before, and it's the hardest sound that I've experienced from Oasis by far. We've done a few videos on the channel, but a lot more harder rock sound coming through on this one for me, which I was not expecting at all. Still got that melodic delivery on the vocal, but definitely a harder hitter, and really kind of gives me a little bit of a grunge vibe in that sense of that hard rock sound. Obviously, this is from, like, you know, different part of the world, and this was a Britpop explosion that was going on with Oasis. But it does give me that semblance of that early 90s feel that obviously was going around the globe. It's just like Oasis was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. we like that hard rock sound, but we're going to put our own flavor on it. And obviously, we see how it turned out.
It's funny that you say that because I was thinking to myself that this gives me some 90s nostalgia feelings, but at the same time, it's different and it has like a different kind of flavor to it.
Yeah.
And I was also thinking, to me, it sounded a little bit harder than the other stuff. But I mean, it would make sense that if this was kind of their introduction, right? And then maybe they got a little bit more poppy, commercialized sounding later on, because that tends to happen with a lot of groups, right? But I really like this sound for them. I feel like this is very catchy. And it's also funny because we were reading before we started that the lyrics are a little bit abstract, but it doesn't really matter. And you don't really pay attention specifically to what he's saying. You're just kind of like in the melodic flow of the song. And I find that to be very true. And I feel like, not that they're even remotely the same, but what it kind of reminds me of that experience is Smells Like Teen Spirit. Is I feel like that song, like, it's the most abstract song ever, but because you just get into this almost like trance-like vibe of the melodic flow of the song, you don't even care what they're saying.
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of similar for me.
All right, let's keep it going.
Supersonic train, and she makes me laugh. I got her autograph. She done it with the doctor on a helicopter. She's sniffing in a tissue, selling the big issue, and she finds out no one's gonna tell her what I'm on about. You need to find a way for what you wanna say. But before tomorrow, 'cause my friend said take you home. Sits in a corner all alone. He lives under a waterfall. Nobody can see him. Nobody can ever hear him call. Nobody can ever hear him call.
I love that guitar part.
And that was Oasis with Supersonic.
Did the video make you think of anything?
Not really. What should I be thinking about, Sam?
There's something you should be. I'm just asking. For me, we know that they have some Beatles influence, right? And I feel like, to me, it was giving me a reminder a little bit of when the Beatles performed on the rooftop and kind of had this like secluded idea, but then all obviously was on the rooftop. And I feel like this was kind of giving that vibe. And even just the main singer, like his hair and his glasses. And it's like, I feel like it was giving Beatles a little bit.
Yeah, I think they...
Like just subtle influence, but...
Yeah, well, I think they openly admit to that,
Yeah.
and we've made reference to that before, where they got some inspiration, and I think also in that sense it's a compliment, because we said in the beginning, or I said in the pause, about the harder rock sound, and that was also what I was thinking about, was the Beatles had such a great ability to make so many different sounds, right? We even did Revolution, which was a recent Beatles song that we did, which was a really hard hitter, hard rock sound, right?
Yep.
Protest vibes. And that's what you got a little more of on this, was that hard rock sound,
Yeah.
where they then transitioned later on to more melodic delivery. So We obviously don't know much about their catalog in general, so who knows what that looks like if you throw on the whole album, what you're going to
Yeah.
get experience-wise.
I was also thinking too that this is earlier on in their career, right? So when you're just coming up to, like, some of that influence might shine through a little bit more because you haven't fully developed like your own lane yet, So
Yeah. And it's not a bad group to model yourself after. I think people would argue that they're the most influential group in
Yeah.
history of music. So
for sure.
I could see why they would be influenced. And they do have their own sound though, and I really enjoyed this. And I was nice to experience an Oasis song that I had never heard before, because like I think some of the other ones we had mentioned, like we kind of felt like we recognized it from like a chorus or something like that. This one, through and through, all the way, didn't recognize it at all. Never heard it before, and it was a great experience for the first time.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't think I've heard this either. Like I said, it did give me a little bit of a era nostalgia, but the song itself wasn't something that I've been exposed
Well, give
to
us
before.
some other recommendations from Oasis down in the comment section. You guys can let us know what you would like to see on the channel. We always appreciate your insights. We hope that you're having a great day or week, and we hope that continues. We'll see you on our next video.
Thanks for watching, guys.